Well, the body cam footage of federal police shooting Andrew Brown Jr. in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, is not going to be released to the public. But the Brown family will be shown the video the judge has ruled. But this has left many with questions as to why full transparency in this situation is not being honored, especially considering the time that we're in the history. So to give us some perspective, we bring in Matthew Fogg, former police officer. Matthew, thank you so much for joining me on this issue. Let's talk about this judge decision that just came down. His decision was based on the video potentially affecting a trial, as well as possibly jeopardizing the safety of deputies in question. We haven't heard this before. Do you think that is a valid reason?
Well, again, I'm not there. I don't know all of the facts of what they put together, but the reality is, as you said on your show a second ago, you said the fact that in this day and time where we are now, transparency is very important. And right now, there are a lot of people in America that just don't trust judges, lawyers, prosecutors, or the police. They feel that there has been a lot of collaboration in what we see that is going on where the issue is Black lives don't matter. So I believe what's happening here is, if there is a reason, the judge apparently he said that, his concern was that maybe it might have some taint on the trial, but at some point they're going to have to release that video. So maybe they are sitting back and trying to figure out, what kind of response is it going to be. But I just think the longer they hold it, the more the crowds and everything will intensify. So I just, to try to understand it, I don't really know. I'm not in that judge's mind. He gave the statements and the reasons why he doesn't want to release it. But I know it does go towards the impact of whether people can just believe criminal justice in America.
Well, and Matthew, I want to correct you. You were a former U.S. Marshal. I want to make sure that we get your title right, because you definitely worked hard to earn that title. What I'm worried about, and maybe you can help me out kind of figuring this out, is the fact that can we keep it still separate of having the trial so that rightful justice can be served separate from what's going on in the streets? Because yes, some are getting reactions. I'm worried about those sort of cases that don't get any reaction because somebody didn't say the right thing or it didn't go viral. That can we actually guarantee that without having the public reaction, that justice will still be served within the courtroom?
Well, that's the whole purpose of jury voir dire. I mean, you question the jurors and you ask the jurors, what do they know about the case and will that impact their decision? And a lot of times you got jurors that have seen things, have watched TV and everything else, and they say, no, it won't impact my decision. I'm sure that happened in the Shaven trial that just occurred and many of these other trials. So bottom line is the videotape should be a separate thing. It's a separate entity. It did happen. It's something that occurred. And people in the public have the right to know, to see what's going on and what's happening. Matter of fact, it's one of the things now, this technology is one of the things that are making police departments and people more accountable, law enforcement people more accountable to their actions. And I just think the world is seeing this stuff and saying, wow, this stuff is really happening. What people were saying all along, we didn't have the video cameras to watch this stuff. Now that we know it's occurring, and then we get a judge that comes back and says, well, he wants to wait a little bit longer. But it sounds like to me he's going to release it. He's giving them a few more days or whatever. So I'm assuming that's probably what's going to happen. At some point it's going to come out. But when it comes down to the jurors know this stuff. They see it. They understand it. And they understand that they are deliberating on the facts of that particular incident, the way it was presented at trial and in court. And that's what they're going to go on.
Well, before I let you go, I want to move to Chicago, where the police body cam footage we're talking about has actually been released, showing Anthony Alvarez was running away with a gun in his hand when he was fatally shot by police. He was told to drop the gun. So in this case, do you think the footage actually vindicated or justified why the officers shot Alvarez?
I don't think so, man. When I look at the video, when I looked at it, it just seemed like the officer shot him. He didn't have the weapon. But again, I've been in situations where that split moment decision, and I had to make those split moment decisions, whether to use my weapon or not. The bottom line is they're saying he had a weapon. So the officer's chasing him with a weapon in his hand. At some point, when did he throw that weapon away? And did that officer know that he threw that weapon away when he threw his hands up? But the bottom line is we're watching this stuff on video. And our training teaches us that if someone's given up, then there's no need for deadly force. But again, we're talking about each individual officer in his head, what's going on in their mind and why are they pulling that trigger. So the reality of it is that officer is going to have to be able to explain why he felt deadly force was necessary at that moment. If he says that he still thought the guy had the gun in his hand or that, then I mean, that's going to be, you know, tethered out if there's a trial or if they decide to prosecute the guy.
You know, Matthew, thank you so much for giving us a perspective, both as a law enforcement officer and obviously someone who obviously cares about what is going on right now and the reforms that are being asked upon not only the police community, but obviously the community as a whole. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.